Shalom, Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Alright, Hebrews, let's tackle this because our history, we already know that our heritage done fell into a whole lot of people's hand since we Israelites broke the covenant and was driven out the land in, into Africa and then eventually being enslaved, and how we lost control of the promised land where we had our books and the history that we Israelites originally wrote. We lost that, and then our history fell in everybody's hands. But this is what our enemies done did. They done broke off a piece of our heritage to everybody. Man, it seemed like everybody got a little piece of our heritage. And it's people claiming Israelite heritage that the Tanakh kind of condemns in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Kind of condemns in the sense that they ain't just positive. And I can say this for sure, that the Creator did not give the Ethiopians his covenant. That the Creator Almighty Yah did not give the Ethiopians his covenant. That is a fact. And Tanakh history record this. But some kind of way our enemies been trying to include the Ethiopians into our heritage, into the Israelite heritage. And this been going on for a long time, and it's got to be a reason why. It's got to be a reason why our enemies include the Ethiopians into the Israelite heritage. And I can kind of show this for sure, that the Nephilims and the Amorites and I would say Cain descendants, you know what I'm saying, got into the mountains of Ethiopia. Because if you look in biblical history, our enemies always hung out in the mountains and in caves and stuff. As we came into the promised land coming out of Egypt, and how, the Tanakh history tell you about the enemies always running to the mountains, fleeing to the mountains. When we coming to the promised land, that how we had to fight the Amorite tribes and how they took off into the mountains. Well, it's mountains in Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is a mountainous region. And it's a connection that I'm finna make that I pray that you Israelites get to see, because we gonna have to get these folks out of our heritage and get an understanding. I know some of you Israelites gonna cry real bad, because your heritage, you done build up a false heritage into the Ethiopian mentality and stuff. How you done been sucked into that, and how you think that your heritage come off Ethiopia, or because you see them as a pigmented people and that they claim an Israelite heritage, that validates you. They give you comfort. Us in captivity, to see some pigmented folks claiming the Israelite heritage, like the Ethiopians and the Limbas and the Igaboos, and even folks in Ghana. Man, it give us pure pleasure to see that, because we've been told all our lives that the Israelites were not a pigmented people and so forth. And we know how that false history got about, and I teach that all the time, how our Israelite heritage fell into the hands of the Sephardi groups in Ashkenazi, and we know they pigmentation status. But check this out, Hebrews. It's a reason why our enemies broke the Ethiopians off a piece of the Israelite heritage. Now, I also explain, how the Edomites, the Edomite tribes that converted to Judaism under John Chronicles in 130 BC, and how, the Edomites was prophesied to get the Israelite heritage, which happened during the Babylonian wars. You know, Prophet Obadiah prophesied that. And then how did those Edomites, you know, in Yemen and so forth would go over into Ethiopia and set up shop and become mixed in and fused in with them peoples, and how they wasn't Israelites. But listen, it's something real sinister and going on, and the reason that I can point out that the Ethiopians got a piece of the Israelite heritage and how they try to fit them in is because the Greeks and the Ethiopians kind of like, you know, the Ethiopians didn't resist the Greeks and opened their door to the Greeks and so forth. And you know, when the Greeks took Egypt over and stuff, and how the Ethiopians wasn't an adversary to them, and how they was more or less like partners and kicking back. And then I can show how this dude named Bar David left the Ukraine. Now, if you look at the Egyptians, I mean, not the Egyptians, but the Ukrainian kings back in the days from Kiev, you know, that was Jewish Khazars, they had went down, you know, down to Ethiopia, and man, had a wife, and then, you know, took a wife, a woman, a couple of them, and then took them on back up to Ukraine and had kids. So, you know, it's a lot going on, and I think I might be able to pull that up too. I'm gonna see, man, if I can get some leads on that. I got a lot of information that I have put away that I ain't used in a long time. But we're gonna see if we can find that Ethiopian woman that was taken up to the Ukraine, and you know, she had kids and so forth. You know, it's the petty degree of Tadar Gabaz, the Zigwe dynasty, and you know, so forth. But let me see if I can find this. There it is. Her name was, let's see if it pull it up. Alright. Corny Khosrow, Princess of Ethiopia. With this one of these Ethiopian princes was taken to the Ukraine, and you know, will have kids by this Ukrainian, and they would rule all over Europe and so forth. And then how the Israelites, because they see that, you know, that them black folks on the crests of them European emblems and stuff, and how they're swapping down that them was Israelites. But look, check this out, Hebrews. I wanna explain, you know, man, a little bit why the Ethiopians get a piece of the Israelite heritage, you know, and man, they go back to the biblical days, like I explained, that the Greeks and the Ethiopians, you know, them, man, if you tell them, they'll say, we white, you know what I'm saying, and we some white folks. And then how they'll brag about never being enslaved. This is not a hate on the Ethiopians, you know, this is a get out our heritage, and how we're gonna have to straighten this up sooner or later. And the Israelite Brotherhood is leading the way. You know, it's like, you know, I'm not racist because I don't just pick on white folks and talk about them or the Jews. Man, I talk about everybody that got a piece of the Israelite heritage illegally. You know, if you illegally got an Israelite heritage, you best believe the Israelite Brotherhood gonna talk about you. And we have to get this Ethiopian thing straight, because you got a whole lot of Hebrews that's in love with the Ethiopians and don't have no understanding. And the reason that they in love with the Ethiopians, because they think that the Ethiopians done resisted slavery and just been strong in Africa. No, the Ethiopians done laid down with the enemies long time ago. You know, the Ethiopians, you know, been kicking it with the Greeks. And then, like I say, in the biblical days, that that the troglodytes gonna be translated and probably into the Nephilims, got into the Ethiopian mountains and mixed with some of them folks. And I'm gonna show this too. Let's see this here. All right, the troglodytes. Let me see. I think I got some images. Man, I think I got some images of the troglodyte Ethiopians, of how that the Nephilims and the Raphalims got up into their mountains and stuff, and then they would be living in the caves with them. You know, this is way probably before we was even a Israelite people. How them folks done got up in the caves in Ethiopia, but they are called troglodytes, the Ethiopian troglodytes. You know, they even got churches in the caves. And then, how about this, Hebrews? When we left the promised land during the Babylonian wars, and then we went into Egypt, and then we went into Africa, we would enslave the Ethiopian troglodytes, the folks that I'm showing, the Ethiopian troglodytes, and how we would enslave them when we went into Africa, and we would put them in the sands and make them dig holes. That's gonna be another reason why our enemies gonna break the Ethiopians off a piece of our heritage, because we Israelites had conflict with them. And then I can show also in the Tanakh history, in the book of Jeremiah, how it was this Cushite descendant burnt the Creator's ladder under Jehoiakim. Oh, it's a whole lot of stuff that the Ethiopians is connected to, and then how the Ethiopians and the Egyptians and Africans opened the door during the Babylonian wars to let us come into Africa to be lost and to be eventually enslaved. Yes, that happened. All right, now this is what I want to show, is why them Ethiopians got a piece of our heritage, and it's gonna go, you know, back into the days, you know, when them folks was really enemies with us. And then I can show how all of our enemies now broke off, you know, everybody a piece of our heritage. All right, let's go into this right here. All right, Prophet Abraham. Let's trace Medine, because our enemies say that Prophet Moses' wife was an Ethiopian, a Cushite Hamite, and then I got proof that Prophet Moses' wife was a Hebrew. Prophet Moses' wife was a Hebrew, and that she wasn't an Ethiopian or a Cushite, and how our enemies purposely misled, you know, everybody. And you know, when our heritage fell into our enemies' hand, man, they was gonna do the thing with the Israelite history. You know, they was gonna do the thing with the Israelite history when our history fell into their hands. And we can, you know, just know for sure that, you know, our enemies was gonna switch our heritage around and then give it, you know, to some people that it don't belong to. And the Israelite job is, when you waking up, is to man, straighten this up. We got to straighten this history up. And we can't let this go on, this big deception. You know, it's like I say, I don't just point out the Jews wrong or the Caucasian wrong. We got to point out the so-called black folks wrong too, that's claiming the Israelite heritage. And we're gonna start tracing Medine, you know, because this was the tribe that Prophet Moses took a wife from after he escaped Egypt. After Prophet Moses escaped Egypt, he took a wife, you know, from this tribe. And these people was kindred to us. They was like our cousins. You know, they was like our cousins. And, you know, that's why he was accepted. And, you know, the folks didn't try to do him wrong. But they mistaken him as an Egyptian also. And it's the thing. With our enemies calling her Ethiopian or black, they kind of letting you know that the tribe of Midian was black, dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? And they, you know, kind of, you know, tell you in so many ways. You got to watch how enemies explain and translate our heritage. They'll tell you a little secret, and then they'll try to hide it, you know, with the lie and so forth. You know, it's like, you know, her being called a Cushite or Ethiopian. Zebra is who I'm talking about. You know, Prophet Moses' wife. You know, the one that he had the 2 sons by. All right, let's trace the tribe of Midian, and then, you know, see where it go, and then we'll see if they connected to any Ethiopians. All right, let's see. All right, this is Genesis 24. And Abraham was old. And now this is Prophet Abraham. You know, we already know his history, how the Creator told him to go to the land of Canaan, and then he would inherit it, because the Canaanites were so wicked. And Prophet Abraham didn't worship none of the gods that was in Mesopotamia. He didn't worship the gods that was in Egypt. And then he didn't worship the Canaanite gods. So he was the perfect candidate to receive the land of Canaan that was wicked, and that the Creator had once upon a time gave the Canaanites, you know what I'm saying, the covenant, and saved them, and everything. I explained that in a video, you know what I'm saying, about Ezekiel chapter 16, the Amorite broken covenant, and how that they had everything, but how did they turn wicked, because they start mixing with them Nephilims and Raphalims, the fallen angelic beings and so forth. I explain that in videos. Alright, let's check out Prophet Abraham, and let's see where the tribe of Midian would come from. And were they Ethiopians or Cushites, as our enemies, you know, try to say. Alright, we go to Genesis 24. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Elohim had blessed Abraham in all things. And then check it out. Our father, Prophet Abraham, was old. This is after our mother Sarah had passed away. She then had Isaac, and Prophet Abraham then had Ishmael first, and then he had Isaac. And then, you know, our mother Sarah passed away, and he then bought some land in the land of Canaan to bury our mother Sarah. And he was old and stricken in age. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age. But guess what? He gonna get his groove back. You know, the Creator gonna give his groove back. You know, and he was able to get another woman and have some more kids. Now this is after being well stricken in age. You know, he was already old when he had was told that he'll have Isaac. All right, and Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Elohim blessed him. Blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his oldest servant of his house. Now he sent his servant to go look for a daughter, a woman for his son Isaac, because he didn't want Isaac to mate with them Canaanites, you know, because he was holding on to the oath that, you know, that he made with the Creator, that he wouldn't give his kids to the Canaanites and the people who his descendants were supposed to eventually destroy. And that's like now, if us Israelites would have had destroyed the Canaanite culture in the past, we wouldn't be in bondage now. We wouldn't be in bondage now, and we wouldn't be going through these troubles trying to straighten out our heritage and get people out of our heritage and so forth. Alright, so we see that Prophet Abraham was old and stricken in age, and that our mother Sarah done passed away. And then as you read, you're going to see this here. And then you get to Genesis 25. Look, and it says, then again, Abraham took a wife. Now he was well old and stricken in age. But then Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. And she bore him Zimram, and Jokshan, and Medin, and Medin, and Ishbak, and Susa. You see? And look, and Jokshan begat Sheba. Now look, the queen of Sheba, who came to visit Solomon, is gonna be a Hebrew woman. She gonna be a Hebrew woman coming from, Sheba. And, they say that Sheba was a territory in, the Arabian Peninsula, somewhere on the Red Sea and so forth, and how that she didn't, come from no Ethiopia, but how that some of the tribes probably went off into Ethiopia later and stuff, after being chased, but how that them folks were not Israelites now, that they Hebrews, but they are not Israelites now. These are descendants of Prophet Abraham. So we must know this, that it was Hebrew tribes. It is, Hebrews everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And that it was other Hebrew tribes. That's like Ishmael was a Hebrew and mixed with a Hamite. And 9 out of 10, these are gonna be Hamites mixed with Hebrew, as you see the Prophet Abraham. All right, how about that? That our enemies don't want to tell you this, that it was other Hebrews, but I'm gonna show that the tribe of Medin, we eventually put their lights out and then absorb them into our heritage, after they had tricked us and so forth, but this is gonna be the tribe that Prophet Moses' wife would come from. And as we see that Prophet Abraham was not an Ethiopian, so if he have a wife from this tribe, she gonna be what her father is. And if her father is from Medin, or even the priest, and we know ain't no nations back then gonna be having no Ethiopians and other folks priests over them when they could, be priests themselves, especially when they come from a stock from Prophet Abraham. So they gonna be believers right here, and they 9 out of 10 gonna be believers and believe in Almighty Yah and so forth. But you see how Medin come from Prophet Abraham, that's one of his sons. Now look here, meaning say Prophet Moses. All right, Prophet Moses' wife was a Hebrew, not an Ethiopian. But in here, let's see what they say right here. Let's see what this story say. So we're gonna fix this. All right, so we know that Prophet Moses was in Egypt, and how he was born, and how we had went to Egypt, during our father Jacob's time. How his son Joseph brought him there, was a famine in the land, and how the Creator already said that we would be a great nation, coming from Egypt anyway, and so I prove in history that some Egyptians left with us going into the promised land. So we will be infuriated with, the Egyptians. Look, and Israel took his journey. This is Genesis 46. And Israel took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifice unto the Yah of his father Isaac. And Yah spake unto Israel in the vision of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here am I. And he said, I am Yah, the Yah of thy father. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of thee a great nation. and I will go down with thee into Egypt. So Almighty Yah. That's why Pharaoh wouldn't dare touch or say nothing to Prophet Jacob, because he know that the Creator done went down to Egypt with him, and how we become a nation, and then how we left Egypt. But before we left Egypt, you know what I'm saying, there's some little stuff that transpired. The Creator had to perform his, wrath, what I'm saying, on Egypt to bring us out. But kind of like before then, the prophet Moses, had the problems with the Egyptians. We know that he was raised in the Egyptians' house, and how did that story go about, and how he had to kill this Egyptian that was hurting his Hebrew, and then how he fled Egypt, going into the tribe of Midian. And then this is where we pick up. Now we don't see these folks being no Ethiopians in no kind of way. Now where this Ethiopian mess come from that our enemies been forcing on the world? Because you don't see that. Look, alright, let's see. You'll go to, man, I believe this would be Exodus 2. Alright. And then we'll pick up, and the Egyptians knew that we was Hebrews, so that's an ethnic group, you know what I'm saying? And that's just not a name that's applied to Prophet Abraham, but that's an ethnic group. And that's a tribe, a people. And as you see, throughout Exodus from the beginning, that how we was classified as Hebrews and so forth by the Egyptians. All right. And then we'll start Exodus 2:14. No, 2:13. Well, 2:12. And he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. That's what Prophet Moses did. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killest the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. Now, he done fled to his kinfolks, his distant kinfolks. Because remember, Midian gonna be a descendant of Prophet Abraham through Cuthra, and Cuthra is not no Ethiopian. There's no indication that she was an Ethiopian. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherd came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to Reuel their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? They done finished feeding the flock real fast, and and he wondering how in the world they do that so fast. And it was Prophet Moses helping them. And then how that they would say that he was an Egyptian, because remember, he done fled Egypt. He 9 out of 10 gonna have some Egyptian clothes on. God, they was like some city slickers. They had clothes. And then how, he would more or less be dressed like an Egyptian, being raised in the Egyptian culture and so forth. Look, and they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, and where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave him Zipporah, his daughter. So she is not an Ethiopian or a Cushite, because her father is a Midianite. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what she gonna be, regardless of what her mama is, because every lineage go off the father and so forth. and she bore him a son, and he called his name Gershom. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. All right. So, that was his son. All right. This probably gonna get Zipporah in charge and make her not as well accepted with with the uh with the other Hebrew women. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this, but how did they didn't do the circumcision, and how did Prophet Moses was told to circumcise his son, and then how Zipporah, took offense to that. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So he let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband thou art because of the circumcision. That's not a good thing, especially when the Creator done told Prophet Moses to do that, and how that will be part of a covenant and so forth. So, her being in resistance to anything with the Creator, gon' probably be the reasons why our enemies tampered with her name and tried to make her Ethiopian and so forth. And then it's all kind of reasons why they, did that too. Also making her a Ethiopian and saying that she black, and that maybe that the other people she was dealing with were not a pigmented people. Our enemies, they be messing up our history, on purpose, and there be a reason behind it. But like I say, I believe that they gave our enemies a piece of our heritage is because of the troglodyte heritage and lineage that the Ethiopians can go back to them folks. The Ethiopian troglodytes gonna be with the Nephilims and the God in the mountains, so they do have them in there and so forth. And then the Ethiopians will brag about never being enslaved, and then look down on us for being enslaved, not knowing that that fulfilled the curse. But I want to destroy this old myth, man, about one of our mothers from Prophet Abraham children being Ethiopians or Cushites, when more or less she was probably a Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Cuthra. And then how that Medine gonna be a Hebrew, so his daughter Zipporah, who is descended from the Mennonite priest, is gonna be a Hebrew. So our enemies, man, they awful with the lies and so forth. So, let's look at this here. Let's look at some of the history about the Mennonites and our interaction with them. So we know the prophet Moses went there and so forth, and then we will have interaction with them coming out of Egypt, and our interaction with them, is gonna be. Let me see what the numbers 25 say. Numbers 25 say. So I know that we was told to extinct that tribe, the Mennonite tribe, and then they was absorbed into our Israelite heritage. We absorbed them, and we killed off the males, all the males we killed off, and the women that had kids or possibly could have kids, we killed them off, and then we kept the virgins and the little bitty babies and raised them as Israelites. That's what happened to the Mennonite tribe, so they wouldn't be no Ethiopians or no Cushites. Alright, let's go to man, I think that got to do with Blake and Balaam, and how that, that we was messing around with them Mennonites, and then how that they tricked us, the Zimri and Kozabi, the Mennonites tricked us when we was coming into the promised land, and how that they was scared of us, and how that the enemy, the Moabites, tried to get them, to make some curses against us the lamb and so forth, and how the creator wouldn't listen to him, and and how that the Midianites, was supposed to be destroyed. Let me read this here. All right. This is Numbers 25. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. And they called the people unto sacrifices of their gods. And the people did eat and bow down to their gods. Man, it's messed up. And that's what we do right now today. Israelite will hurry up and run to the enemy's gods and religion and worshiping, and then think he doing something real slick. Yeah, Hebrews always, doing foolish stuff like that. I'm a religion killer. I ain't finna run to now one of these folks' gods or their religion. All right. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab, and they called the people unto sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bow down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Elohim was kindled against Israel. And the Elohim said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Elohim against the sun, that the furious anger of the Elohim may be turned away from Israel. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every man his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. And behold, one of the children of Israel come and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel. We were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Elijah, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. Now he done took a Midianitish woman, up to the tabernacle. Shouldn't have been going there. And he went in after the men of the Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, and the men of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel, and those that died in the plague were 24,000. And the Elohim spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Elijah, the son of Aaron, the priest, had turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consumed not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I gave unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for Yah, and made an atonement for the children of Israel. Now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, a prince of chief house of the Samonites. And the name of the Midianitish woman that was slain was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur. He was head over the people in the chief of the house in Medin. And the Elohim spake unto Moses, saying, vex the Midianites, and smite them, for they vex you with their wells, and wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Peor. That Baal Peor do. And in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of the prince of Medin, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague for Peor's sake. So, them folks messing with them Amorite gods and so forth. And so, we put their lights out. And then this is us putting their lights out. If you go to, let me see, Numbers 31. Let's see they sin. The Midianite spoil. Alright. And the Elohim spake unto Moses, saying, avenge the children of Israel of the Midianites. Afterward shalt thou be gathered unto thy people. And Moses spake unto the people, saying, arise, saying, arm some of yourselves unto the war, and let them go against the Midianites, and avenge the Elohim of Medin. Of every tribe 1,000 throughout all the tribes of Israel shall ye send to the war. So there were delivered out of the hands of Israel 1,000 of every tribe, 12,000 armed for war. And Moses sent them to the war, 1,000 of every tribe. Them and Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the priest, to the war with the holy instruments and the trumpets to blow in his hand. And they warred against the Midianites, as the Elohim commanded Moses, and they slew all the males. Look, slew all the males. Slew all the males, and they slew all the kings of Midian, because the rest of them that were slain, namely Evi, Rekem, Zer, Hur, Reba, 5 kings of Midian. Balaam also the son of Berer, they slew with the sword. You know, Balaam gonna be trying to get us cursed and stuff. And the children of Israel took all the women. Look, and the children of Israel took all the women of Midian captives and their little ones, and took the spoil of their cattle and all their flocks and all their goods, and they burnt all their cities wherein they dwelt, and all their goodly castles with fire. And they took all the spoil, all the prey, both of men and of beasts, and they brought the captives and the prey and the spoil unto Moses and Eleazar the priest, and unto the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the camp at the plains of Moab, which are by Jordan, near Jericho. And Moses and Eleazar the priest and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them throughout the camp. And Moses was wroth with the officers of the host, with the captains over thousands and the captains over hundreds, which come from the battle. And Moses said unto them, Have ye saved all the women alive? Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Elohim in the matter of Peor. And there was a plague among the congregation of the Elohim. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known man by laying with them. So they got extinct. We extinct them and then absorb them into our heritage. You know, they was already Hebrews. Look, now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known man by lying with him. But all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. And that's what our enemies is doing, that to us, getting rid of the Hebrew males and trying to keep the Hebrew women for themselves. And that's why they promote the Hebrew woman too. All right. So, you know, we had to get rid of all the males, even the little ones. I hate to say it, but that's how it went on then. Get rid of all the little ones. You know, back then it was trying to extinct a religion. Prophet Moses was trying to get rid of a culture. We was trying to get rid of the Amorite culture that them people was affected by. The Midianites and all the other tribes that didn't get the covenant from Prophet Jacob from Prophet Moses, that, you know, from the promise from Isaac, Jacob, you know, on down and so forth, and how Prophet Moses got that covenant, and how that them other people wouldn't have that covenant, and how they would be affected by the Amorite Canaanite culture, and how we would have to get rid of them. And that would be another reason why our enemies would give the tribe of Midian a Cushite Ethiopian heritage, because, you know, we put their lights out, and then, you know, that's how our enemies get in. But let me show you, about the Ethiopians. I want to expose this lie too, man. This is another big lie, is that for some reason our enemies been teaching the world, and they even got a tourist attraction in Ethiopia, where folks been flying to see this mess, this craziness, where they say that they got the Ark of the Covenant. Then why would the Creator give the Ethiopians the Ark of the Covenant? He wouldn't give the Ethiopians the Ark of the Covenant, and he wouldn't let our ark fall into the Ethiopians' hand. That's foolishness. And then them Ethiopians worship Christianity. It's all messed up. But if you believe in that foolishness, that show how they can control the world with lies. And then if people start to wake up to lies, then they can see that their time is limited and that it's coming to an end. But you can see that the people minds is mostly gone, and now they just accept that ruckus. But we Israelites ain't gonna do that. I'm finna show how that the Ethiopians don't have the Ark of the Covenant, and that the Ethiopians ain't no favored people in Tanakh history, and how it was really one good Ethiopian, and that Enoch who had his nuts cut off, that helped the prophet Jeremiah out of the hole in the well that he was in. You know, that's the only good Ethiopian that I seen in scriptures and stuff. And that how all this other stuff about the Ethiopians and how, spiritually connected they is to our heritage is false. Okay, let's uncover this ark life. First I want to read this, because the people hurry up and say, but Almighty Yah said that the Ethiopians are just like us Israelites, and that they was called Israelites. If you go to Amos, let's see, Amos. Let's go to Amos 9:6. Let's tackle that. Let's tackle that and get an understanding of this. Because it says, look, 9:7. They'll hurry up. Israelites to hurry up and grab this verse and run to it, because we be trying to prove that the Israelites are pigmented peoples. Man, how about the Israelite Brotherhood way past that, and we don't even play them little weak games trying to prove that the Israelites were some black folks. It's evidential. You know what I'm saying? It's all right, evidential. All right, look. This is Amos 9:7. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, said the Elohim? Have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Captor, and the Syrians from Ker? All right, now let's read this whole verse. That's not speaking favorably, man, about the Israelites in comparison to the Ethiopians. All right, this is Amos 9, and then this was written in 7. This was written in 776. Amos 776 BC. So this is, man, about the time that we will start, not too long, probably about a good 44 years after that, we will start having troubles with the Assyrians and the other folks, and how that we was on Egyptian religion during this time. The Egyptian religion that Jeroboam brung out of Egypt in 931 BC. And then I'm going to show how the Ethiopians didn't have the Ark of the Covenant, how they try to say that the Queen of Sheba came to the Promised Land, and then some kind of way got the Ark and then left with it, and then took it to Ethiopia and so forth, and how that's a lie, because the Ark was there 325 years after Solomon's death, and how the Ark was around under King Josiah, who would be a prophecy king. Now the Creator not gonna let a prophecy king have a fake Ark, and how the Ark left during the Babylonian Wars. Now this is 300 years after the Queen of Sheba was around, and how the Creator said that we wouldn't even worry about no Ark or need no Ark no more, meaning that he took it away. So how would the Ethiopians have it? That's a lie. That's a lie. And that's the Israelite Brotherhood job, is to uncover these lies dealing with the Israelite history. All right. This is Amos 9. Let's kill this Ethiopian or Are you like the children of Ethiopians that tell lies to me, is what the Creator's saying. In this chapter right here. I saw the Elohim standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel of the door, that the post may shake, and cut them in the head. All of them I will slay, the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Now this is in 766 BC. Now, you know what type of frame of man that we was in. We was on the Egyptian religion from Jeroboam. This is dealing with the northern kingdom. Amos was a prophet of Israel in the northern kingdom. You see what I'm saying? So, this is dealing with them. All right. Though thou dig into hell, then shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And though they hide themselves at the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. And though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it shall slay them. And I will set my eyes upon them for evil and not for good. And the Elohim Yah of hosts is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt, and all that dwell therein shall mourn, and it shall rise up woefully like a flood, and shall be drowned as by the flood of Egypt. It is he that builded the stories in the heaven, and had founded his troop in the earth. He that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poured them out upon the face of the earth. The Elohim is his name. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? Said the Elohim, have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines out of the Cuthar, and the Syrians from Ker? Behold, the eyes of the Elohim Yah are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, said the Elohim. For lo, I will command, and I will shift the house of Israel among all the nations. For as corn is shifted in the sheaf, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth, and all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, said the Elohim. The evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we say. Evil wouldn't overtake us during the Babylonian wars. The book of Jeremiah is recorded that, that's like probably about a good 200 some years later, that during the Babylonian wars, we'll say, ain't nobody gonna chase us off the land, ain't nobody gonna, run us away. And then that eventually happened. But you see, that verse is not speaking about the Ethiopians favorably. But look at this right here. This is outright tell you about the Ethiopians. Let's go to Zephaniah. Let me see, that's Zephaniah. That'll be Zephaniah 2:12. Ye Ethiopians, also ye shall be slain by my sword. Why would the Creator say that the Ethiopians will be slain by his sword? And then this is mixed in with our other enemies. Look, I have heard the reapproach of Moab, and the raveling of the children of Ammon, whereby they have reapproached my people and magnified themselves against their borders. Therefore, as I live, said the Elohim of hosts, the Yah of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah. Even the breeding of nettles and salt pits and perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them. The remainder of my people shall possess them. This shall they have for their pride, because they have reapproached and magnified themselves against the people of the Elohim of hosts. That's the same way that the Ethiopians is doing. They done magnified themselves against us. And if you look at the Ethiopians, especially the ones here in this Egypt system called America, they look down upon us real bad, and they don't have no respect for us, and they done magnified themselves against us. This shall they have for their pride, because they have reapproached and magnified themselves against the people of the Elohim of hosts. The Elohim will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth, and men shall worship him, everyone from his place, even all the isles of the heathen. Ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword. Now, he talking about knocking the Ethiopians off. But this is so true, and this is what we Israelites got to do. We got to famish all the gods of the earth. You know, all the gods of these other religions, we got to cut them off. And we cut them off by not digesting that wickedness that they, people promote and stuff. We're worshiping their gods. All right, but you see how the Ethiopians, you know what I'm saying, nothing supposed to get it by the sword, and they getting it by this verbal sword. All right, man, look here. Let's look and see where the prophet. Let's see Asa. Man, did I put that down? All right. Let's see. Have we had any relations with the Ethiopians? All right. Let's go to Second Chronicles 14, and let's see what this say. All right. Awesome. All right. This is gonna be awesome. Awesome, man. This is gonna be one of the good kings, and how he will have trouble with the Ethiopians. Look, this is Second Chronicles 14. So Abijah slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David, and Asa his son reigned in his stead. In his days the land was quiet 10 years, and Asa did that which was good and right in the sight of the Elohim his Yah. For he took away all the altars of the strange gods in the high places, and break down the images, and cut down the groves, and commanded Judah to seek the Elohim Yah of their fathers, to do the law of the commandment. Also he took away out of all the cities of Judah the high places in the images, and the kingdom was quiet before him. And he built fenced cities in Judah, for the land had rest, and he had no war in those days. And then he kicking it in peace. 10 years, nobody bothering us. None of our enemies trying to rise up against us, and how he kicking it in peace. Look, therefore he said unto Judah, let us build these cities, and make about them walls and towers and gates and bars, while the land is yet before us, because we have sought the Elohim our Yah. We have sought him, and he had given us rest on every side. So they built and prospered. And Asa had an army of men that bore targets and spears out of Judah, 300,000, and out of Benjamin that bore shields and bore bows, 280,000. All these were mighty men of volume. And there came out against him Zerah the Ethiopian with an host of 1,000,000, like 1,000,000 of them folks, and 300 chariots, and came unto Marishah. And then also went out against him, and they set the battle in array in the valley of Zapatha and Mishra. And Asa cried unto the Elohim his Yah, and said, Elohim, it is nothing with thee to help, whether with many or with them that have no power. Help us, O Elohim our Yah. So we had to cry for help from them Ethiopians. O Elohim our Yah, for we rest on thee, and in thy name we go against this multitude. O Elohim, thou art our Yah. Let no man prevail against thee. So the Elohim smote the Ethiopians before Asa and before Judah, and the Ethiopians fled. And Asa and the people that were with him pursued them unto Gur. And the Ethiopians were overthrown, that they could not recover themselves, for they were destroyed before the Elohim, before his host, and they carried away much spoil. See, Look, me and the Ethiopians, man, ain't just been our friends. You can't even count where they been our friends nowhere. But one time with Prophet Jeremiah. Now let's get to let's do this one about Solomon and how that they done tricked Solomon history. You know, they trick everybody with Solomon history, saying that the Hebrews during Solomon time and then did this and then did that. All kind of false history come off Solomon history, you know. And our enemies build up a lot of false history off Solomon history. And then let's knock this ark lie out. So we see that the Ethiopians just ain't been our friends and stuff. And then let's go and read how the Queen of Sheba came to Solomon in 946 BC. And they say that she got the ark, that the Ethiopians got the ark during Solomon time. And if you read the Ethiopian history, they got this wrote up in their history how that they done stole the Israelite ark. Now we know that didn't take place because the ark was still around after the Solomon. All right, so if we go to this would be First Kings. First Kings. Let's see what First Kings is doing with Solomon. And Solomon had all kind of wives. Alright, Solomon. Alright, let's go to that'll be Second Chronicles 9. Alright, the Queen of Sheba supposedly had came and seen Solomon. You know, and the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon. This is Second Chronicles 9. And she came to prove Solomon with hard questions at Jerusalem, with a very great company and camels that bore spices and gold in abundance, precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him all in her heart. So this was in 946. This was 946 BC. This was about that time. All right, so you know Solomon had the ark then. You know what I'm saying? And the ark was around. All right, check this out. If you go to Second Chronicles 35, man, this is in 621 BC. This is like 125 years, 325 years later. You see that we still got the ark. So the Ethiopians couldn't have never had the ark because we had the ark. Look. Moreover, this is in 2 Chronicles 35. This is dealing with King Josiah, who was a prophecy king. So we know he wouldn't have no fake ark. Moreover, Josiah kept a Passover unto the Elohim in Jerusalem, and they killed the Passover on the 14th day of the first month. And he set the priests in their charge and encouraged them to the service of the house of the Elohim, and said unto the Levites that taught all Israel, which were holy unto the Elohim, put the holy ark in the house which Solomon the son of David king of Israel did build. It shall not be a burden upon your shoulders. Serve now the Elohim your Yah and his people. So they put the ark in its place. You know, the ark was put in its place. And that go to show that the Ethiopians ain't have no ark of the covenant as they history try to portray. You know, they want to say that they had the ark, but we show that they ain't have no ark. Alright, and then if you go to alright, so we see the King Josiah had the ark, and this is 325 years after Solomon. You know, the Ethiopians claim an Israelite heritage, gonna make y'all, you know, point it out. And that's how you able to do in the Tanakh. You know what I'm saying? Point that they ain't got no Israelite heritage, and that them folks it is wrong for claiming an Israelite heritage. Okay, so we see that King Josiah had the ark, and that the Ethiopians ain't have no ark, brother. But if you go to Jeremiah, let's see what Jeremiah say. That'll be Jeremiah 3:16. Jeremiah 3:16. And we're gonna see what it say about the ark. Now this is when we done broke the covenant and finna go into Africa and be cut off. And then how the ark was around then. This is after King Josiah was dead and we going into the Africa. You know, this is the Babylonian Wars. Alright. If you go to 3:16. 3:16. And it reads, and it shall come to pass when ye be multiplied and increase in the land in those days, said the Elohim, they shall say no more the ark of the covenant of the Elohim, neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore. You know, we wasn't going to even need the ark no more, because the Creator told us he was going to give us a new covenant anyway, as seen in Jeremiah 31. You know what I'm saying? Where the law gonna be in us, and how we ain't gonna need all these artifacts and objects and stuff to worship Almighty Yah. Behold, the days come, said the Elohim, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, said the Elohim. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Elohim. I will put my law in their inward parts, and will write it in their hearts, and I will be their Yah, and they shall be my people, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know the Elohim, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Elohim, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Alright, Hebrews, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. I done proved that Prophet Moses ain't married no Ethiopian Cushite woman, and that how Zephyr was a Hebrew from Prophet Abraham's line, from his wife Cuthah. So, you know, they can cut that mess out, and then them laying on the ark, saying that they got the ark. Why would the Creator let them have the ark? That's why he say they gonna be slayed, because the truth gonna slay them. You know, they gonna be slayed by the truth. And then that's what's happening. Shalom. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood.